What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Now, I think so many of us, we jump into the world of spirituality and personal development with these big aspirations and this overflowing sense of motivation. But what we soon find out is that inner transformation is a full-time job. It's kind of scary stepping into the unknown every single day, learning to push beyond and expand past our limitations. And all change happens in a place of discomfort, which means more often than not, it feels like we're in this endless battle, this struggle against ourselves. And this is when it can be tempting to lose that motivation and jump ship, to kind of go back to the old ways of thinking and old ways of living. And I've been there. I've been on the internet searching up how to slow down a spiritual awakening, because so often it kind of hits us all at once. It comes out of nowhere when we're least prepared, and once we open that Pandora's box, there's no going back to our old way of seeing the world. And so yes, it is super hard, but I want you to think of it another way. I want you to consider today that all this work that we're doing, this isn't for you, it's not for me, it's for the next generation of humans. It's for our kids and every generation that's going to come after them. All the deep transformation, the inner work, the lessons we're learning through our struggles, the emotional healing, the shadow work, cleaning up our diet and purifying our physical bodies. All of this so we as a species can actually start to thrive and unleash our genetic potential instead of just getting by every day. So who knows how far you and I will get in our lifetime. I would bet it's probably further than we can even imagine. But what we can be sure of is that we are propelling the human race forward, that we're setting the next generation up for even greater success than ourselves. We will have kids with cleaner, purer blood. They will be able to activate more parts of the dormant DNA, step more fully into the human potential. If we learn to master our minds, our thoughts, and our emotions, we can teach that to our kids instead of passing on our generational traumas and limiting beliefs like we've been doing for thousands of years, so that this newest generation of leaders, of innovators, visionaries, they can grow up to be these radiant spiritual beings who shine their light and ultimately transform this planet. In a previous video about the optimal diet for spiritual ascension, which I will link down below. If I forget, please remind me down in the comments. But in this video, I talk about Jesus and how, in my estimation, all the evidence points to him being born into this lineage of highly spiritual Jews called the Nazarenes or the Essenes. And the Essenes were very devout, very disciplined in every area of their life, from their diet, from family life to worship. Everything was about reorienting themselves and becoming aligned with the divine order, with natural law. And what I think they understood is that if they did this generation after generation, their bloodline would start to evolve upwardly rather than degenerating like most of humanity has done for a very long time. Their bodies would be purer, their minds would be cleaner. It would become more and more natural to just connect with this higher divine power within them and all around them. And so I think they understood that it was only a matter of time before someone in this lineage gave birth to a perfected physical vessel into which the Christ could incarnate, the perfect embodiment of God consciousness or Christ consciousness, who would be a way shower for all humanity. And so I believe this is what we are responsible for right now on a much grander scale, to begin purifying ourselves so that with each generation, humanity will make these quantum leaps of improvement so that Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, can return to this planet en masse in what's been called the second coming of Christ, prophesied for this very time. And so you might be saying, look, I've already had kids, or I'm past that age. What do I do? What's my purpose? But I want you to know that this involves you just as much as it involves everyone else, because as we know, we are not these linear beings. We don't exist in time the way that the mind perceives it in this linear way. We are these quantum beings, these infinite spiritual beings who are interconnected throughout time and space to everyone else. And so when you heal, you anchor in more light and love to shift the energy of the entire planet, of the entire human collective. And you also heal your entire ancestral lineage that goes generations and generations back. There are actually many aware and awake individuals who have actually chosen to incarnate into genetic lines that have a lot of unresolved trauma and pain throughout their family's history. And if humanity is going to ascend to the next level together, all of these things need to be rectified. The loose ends need to be healed and tied up, because if they're not, what happens is these wound patterns get passed down from generation to generation. In my case, it's my family has a lot of tragedy, terrible relationship with money and prosperity and abundance, and these are just a couple generations back that I'm aware of. These, depending on the lineage and the race you were born into as well, every group here on planet Earth has sort of collective traumas as well, and these big events that really influenced the trajectory of the entire race. For instance, I'm Japanese American, and so my grandparents, after Pearl Harbor, were thrown into the internment camps here in America, and they had everything taken from them, their home, their belongings, overnight, and they were thrown into these prisoner camps. And you can imagine what kind of trauma this creates, all these fears that we're going to lose what we have, everything's going to be taken away, all these fears about safety and security. And so these traumas get stored in the body, in the energetic field, in the DNA, and this gets passed down to my parents, it gets passed down to me, and it continues to keep getting passed down until someone in the line decides to be the person to heal that and to end that pattern. And so this is what happens. This is what's happened for all of humanity throughout our history. Is it's just trauma after trauma, and it kind of gets worse and worse as it passes from parent to kid over and over again. It sort of warps itself to take on these different forms over the generations, but it never really goes away. It's never really healed. And this is why we have all this abuse and neglect and murder and rape and corruption. They're all just these different manifestations of the same fear patterns that have never been resolved. And so you can be that evolutionary dead end, the dead end for lack, for scarcity, for fear, unworthiness. And because of this inner work and transformation and healing that you've done, humanity will be better because of you. And so today's message is really that the future of humanity, it doesn't start tomorrow, it doesn't start 5 years from now, it doesn't start once the deep state is finally defeated, or when the aliens come down from the sky and tell us they have a solution for all of our problems. Yeah, these things would be great, but it starts today. It starts with you. Every choice you make, it matters, and it has a ripple effect that influences so many people around you and people that you don't know. And so we get to make the choice of whether or not our kids will get more of the same suffering and trauma and strife that's dominated this planet for so long, or if they will come in with a cleaner slate, with the freedom to create their own experience and live from an authentic place of love and joy and curiosity and passion. And so it's up to us to set this stage for them right now. So get out there, even if you don't know exactly what that looks like. If you're struggling to find your passion or your purpose, follow your curiosity. Do things that light you up. You do not come here to suffer. You're not destined for a life of suffering. We came here to follow our joy, and yes, to encounter challenges and struggles along the way that push us to grow. But really, we came here to follow that inner joy, to do things that really excite us, to go places and travel and have new experiences. And so just live your life. You don't need to be Superman and save the world. You just need to spread love and spread happiness and health in your immediate sphere of influence. Even that smile that you give to a stranger passing by, or the compliment that you give to the clerk at the grocery store, the extra change that you give to the homeless person. You have no idea how they can change that person's day and have this ripple effect that changes the trajectory of their whole life. And so I really think that this is the surest way to change on a large scale, is to just embody that light, to show others what's possible. We don't need to go out of our way to change others or convert others. We just need to be a living example and to practice what we preach. And what you'll find is people will start approaching you, because the change on this planet is becoming so great that we can't ignore it. And people are experiencing this to a great degree in their inner life. This sense of just change and being thrown into something new, and people don't really know what that looks like yet. And so they're going to seek out people who are living their greatest life, people who are one or two steps ahead of them. They will reach out to you and ask you for help and guidance and assistance. And so be that light for others. I know you will. And remember that this is no small feat that we are accomplishing together. It's not meant to be this easy task. It's bigger than politics. It's bigger than finance. It's bigger than religion, bigger than any of these human-made constructs. But there are so many of us, so many people moving the needle right now more than ever, and we are really all in this together. So we are creating this whole new world, and you're being called to step into your greater purpose in a much bigger way in the very near future. So I'm confident that you will. I want to wish you the best as you step into this next phase of your life. If you enjoyed today's message, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. It really helps me out if you want to work through this process together. I will put my coaching information down in the description below, whether that's one-on-one for your own healing and transformation, or whether that's for your kids and implementing more conscious parenting. Check out my website for more information. As always, let me know if there's anything I can do to support you. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.